Welcome to the Prophecy Club. A very interesting and powerful program today this is going to prove to you that the mark of the beast is actually scary close. My guess is that most people probably have not seen it this way. Question. So how can we know when the mark of the beast is really getting close? Is there a way? Yes, there is. We can tell by watching the digital system which is going to carry it being put in place. And today I'm going to show you that system. Tokenization. BlackRock's Larry Fink says we are at the beginning of the tokenization, I'm going to explain, of all assets, promotes the necessity of a digital ID. Did you hear that? Digital ID to form a social credit score. Wow. If you understand what was in those words, you know that we're getting scary close to the mark of the beast. Okay, so here's the article. BlackRock's Larry Fink says that we're getting at the beginning of the tokenization. What's tokenization? In 2024, Fink echoed a similar sentiment, but introduced the concept of a digital ID. Hear those words, digital ID. Let me say it again. Digital ID. Another two words you're going to hear put together is digital currency, okay? Digital finance, digital assets, digital. Everything is going digital. Why? I'll explain. Digital ID, without saying, revealing that everyone will have our own identification. That's what we want. We want our own identification, our very own digital identification in this new digital sphere. Hear that word digital today. We believe the next step going forward would be the tokenization. What's that? I'll explain. Of all assets, and it means that every stock, every bond, every forehead, every hand is going to basically have a CUSIP, a nine-digit digital character numeric and alphanumeric code that uniquely identifies it. In other words, everything on the planet is in the process, not finished, the process of being tokenized or digitized. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number. That's what we want. We want our own number, our own identification. We can get rid ourselves of all the issues around illicit activities, around bonds, stocks, digital. That's right. We can track all the Nancy Pelosi trades. They do think we're stupid. They really do. Everything would be immediate. We believe this is a technology transformation. I'm sorry. It's really scary. I'm just making fun of it because we prophecy students are not fooled by this. We see what they're doing. And if you're catching this, and you are, this is saying the mark of the, I'm going to show you, mark of the beast system will be in place early 26, not my words, their words. One day I expect tokenized funds, they do think we're stupid. What are tokenized funds? It's digital currency. Tokenized funds will become as familiar to investors as ETFs. I don't know what an ETF is. Provided we crack one critical problem: identity verification. Okay, now let me just tell you. Here's where they're going with this. We're going to keep reading, but here's where they're going. They want your fingerprints. They want your eye print, your voice print, your face print, and your blood, from your blood, your DNA print. They want your biometrics, and you will give it up if you want to eat in the days ahead. I'm going to show you how long. I'm going to explain. You will give it up if you're going to eat in the days ahead. There's a way. Okay, I'll explain. We need a new digital identity verification system. It sounds complex, but India, the world's most populous country, has already done it. Today, over 90% of the Indians can securely verify transactions. That's what we want. We want secure transactions directly from our smartphones. We must solve digital verification. Clearly, tokenization and digital ID are inseparable. What did that just say? It says everything on the planet. I'm going to pick up the pen. Everything. Not just the pen, not just our merchandise, but us. It's all going to be digitized. Why? So that no man can buy or sell, save he had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. You can see it real fast, but it still sounds real bad. Not just a new piece of identity, but a new system. Why do you think the Dems have shut down the government for the longest it's ever been shut down? I told you. I do not think it's coming back. When I first said that, my wife says, oh, sure, it's coming back. I said, it's not. They're going to a new, what does it say? It says a new system. What do the prophecies say? Dollars blowing in the wind, worthless as leaves. What did Coverstone say? Value the dollar down 50% to zero. What did others say? One third, zero. Where's it going? What do the prophecies say? New system, new currency, new constitution, new president, President Trump, heading up the new Republic of the United States. Not just a new piece of identity, but a new system for managing the information we've got to manage this information. We don't have everybody digitized. You better know it's coming. And you better know it's just around the corner. Access commercial goods and services and people. Driving license when renting a car or verifying their age online. That's right. We have no way to verify their age and they just can't rent a car. Wait a minute. We don't need this. This is not for us. This is for the Antichrist so that no one can buy or sell unless they have bowed the knee to him. Regardless of whether they own a smartphone. Oh, look what Grok says. He confirms it. Repotting traditional assets. What are they talking about? This is the definition of tokenization. Try to remember this. This is new for us, I know, but we got to learn this, okay? Fink's vision positions tokenization as the next wave of opportunity for BlackRock, the number one organization in the world that manages assets, $13.5 trillion. Over the coming decades, he envisions repotting traditional assets like ETFs, stocks, bonds, even real estate, into digital formats on blockchain ledgers. This would allow seamless integration into digital wallets. That's what we want. We want seamless integration. It's hard to even say. They think we're stupid. Seamless integration into digital wallets. That's what we want. We want to seamlessly integrate into digital wallets. That's what we want. Identify us. Efficiency gains. Oh, yes. Look, well, the best system on the earth is going to be world government, with one person leading it, one set of laws for everybody. That is, if that person's Jesus. But until that happens, the devil is going to take over. The firm is developing an in-house technology for this, partnering with platforms. Oh, surely not. It gets worse. The digital identity requirement. That's the big problem. Tokenization will only work with digital identity. Okay, they're digitizing assets. I'm going to explain. No anonymous wallets for institutional or anybody else. There is no anonymous anymore in the new system. Not just tracking, but automated compliance. Bottom line, yes. Tokenization does equal total transaction visibility. Every tokenized asset, you, transfer will be tracked, traced, tied to verified entity, you. It's not a bug. It's the main feature for regulators, tax authorities, auditors, risk managers, and the Antichrist. That's where it's really going. We prophecy students see it. We're not fooled. But the problem is there's a lot of folks out there that aren't informed. You got to click like, share, and subscribe, my brothers and sisters. You got to do it. We've ruled this planet for thousands of years. We'll destroy it rather than give it up. This is the cabal that spoke this to Benjamin Fulford. How does that fit in? Well, prophecy terms. Okay, let's talk about this. Giving every tradable, exchangeable item on the planet a digital number so it can be transferred digitally. In other words, this tokenization is, let's say, give a cow 3,500. Not dollars, just credits, okay? Dollar maybe 1.2, gasoline 2.5. Now we can trade, buy, or sell. Grok goes on to say, yes, tokenization inherently enables near perfect real-time tracking of every financial transaction. But nothing says that they want to track the finances, they want to track the people. They want you to take that mark of the beast or lose your head, one or the other. That's jihad. Each token has a unique ID. Every person will have a unique ID. Every transaction recorded immutably on a public or permissioned ledger. The result? A complete auditable trail of who owns what, when, and how it moved down to 14 people. The system that's coming is going to track every, I know this. You won't see this in any articles, and I can't tell you how I know it, but it will track every transaction down to 14 transactions. 14 transactions. And it's coming to a billfold or a purse near you. What is tokenization? Well, tokenization is tracking and digitizing all assets, converting all traditional assets like real estate, bonds, and digital tokens, all on a blockchain. But they didn't mention you, but they're going to tokenize you too. What tokenization is the process of turning real-world, tradable, traditional assets into digital representations on a blockchain. What assets can be tokenized? Eventually, everything. Everything. Revelation says that no man can buy or sell save he had the mark and the name of the beast or the number of his name. That is where they're going. So there is one caveat. Cash-like privacy will not exist in tokenized institutional markets, the whole point. Why do you think they put cameras on top of all of the stoplights and the go lights? Why is it they have cameras all over every place? Every place but bathrooms and locker rooms, and wouldn't surprise me what they have them there too. Why? Because they want to use your facial recognition to track you. Look at what, it's not just Britain, but Britain leads the world on this. Final answer, yes, tokenization will allow and require tracking of every financial transaction the system Larry Fink is championing. I ask it another question. Can digitized tokens prevent a person from transacting if the powers that be decide so? 100% yes. Grok said yes. It can freeze, blacklist, prevent a wallet from transacting, I have trouble talking today, instantly and irrevocably. This is not a side effect. It's a core design feature to track you. How it works. Now, you can pause and read this if you want to, but essentially, it's going to track everything. We give everything on the planet a digital number. Then we give every person on the planet a digital number. And then we can track it all. That's where they're going. For example, digital IDs in the U.S. primarily refer to mobile driver's licenses and digital state IDs and in a smartphone app. But we know that it's going to another thing that looks like a cell phone, but you can't play games, you can't make telephones on. It's not a cell phone. It is for digital transacting. And we've been told that you can't put a cover on it because as you're handling this phone, I'm trying not to show you. Okay, as you handle the phone, it doesn't have a cover on it. It's always taking your fingerprints. The camera is always on. The microphone is always, you can't turn it off. So even if you hand your device that is made for buying and selling to a friend, as they touch it, the phone knows you no longer are holding it. And if it doesn't see your face, your fingerprints, your voice print, your digital print, if it doesn't get that, you can't access the system. So you have to give them your digital IDs. That's where we're going. That's what the prophecies say. Now, this is a list. I want you to look at the list. This is a list of the states in America that already have digital ID to some degree. The right line over here tells you to what degree they have it. But the bottom line says at least 25 states are projected to have live programs. Oh, when's the mark of the beast coming in? Here it is, by the end of 2025. The only one I live in Texas, so I'm very interested. See, Texas is not on the list. I'm glad I live in Texas. By the end of 2025, per industry forecast, Amazon and other businesses are trying to accept them for verification, la-di-da. 6.6 Mark of the Beast. When is the digital financial system going to come online? That's the next question I asked Grok. And it told me. The digital financial system, no single switch flip, but a phased roll in. It says roll out. A phased roll in is already underway. It's gradual, multi-year transformational of global finance as of November 7, 2025. We're not waiting for a big reveal. It's already in. So you want to know when the mark of the beast shows up? You want to know when the world government starts? You want to know when you see the Antichrist? He may already be here. They're doing a gradual, multi-year transformation. Why? Because they're turning the water temperature up slow so that the frog won't jump out. It goes on to say the digital financial system went online. What? Online in phases starting in 2023, 2024, and 2025 is the inflection point. Operational for institutions. Look at the bottom line. Q1 2026. What's Q1? First quarter. What's first quarter? January, February, March. So, even Grok is saying they plan to have it online in the next 5 months. Why do you think they're spending trillions of dollars on AI? And Trump is just giddy over it. Oh, these big companies are spending billions of dollars. That's right. To build AI to track and to monitor you so you won't be able to buy or sell. So the question is, do we get into the system? Well, ideally, no, but there's a little bit of hope here. So Pastor Massey had this dream. In my dream, I had some bond and currency papers in my hand. We'd prayed and prayed, and all of a sudden these papers turned into gold bars in my hand. I want to assume that is going into the new currency system. I thought, what is this? This is so amazing. I was so happy. Then I was told I have 6 months to change the currency I was given for them in my bank account to gold, land, and after 6 months, the money in the bank account will be worthless and will not be able to be used anymore. And I'll add to that also oil wells in Israel. I asked God if he could extend the time, and he said, God, can you please expand the time to at least make it 1 year? He said, no. I asked again. I said, God, can you please give us at least a year? And he said, no. It will only be 6 months. Don't ask again. I was impressed would be a short window to exchange bank funds into gold and land. Now, I believe, and so does he, what this is talking about, when the new digitized currency system comes in, probably everybody's going to have to get in it. But we don't bend the knee. We don't accept Antichrist. We don't worship another God. But the truth is, we're probably going to have to get into it. I know it's the first time I've said that, and I almost feel like I need to wash my mouth out with soap. But, probably. But what he's also saying is, whatever you have in that system, get it out within 6 months. Why? Because it tells us this is, you want no timing? Okay. This is timing. So when the digital system comes in, and I didn't say it, there, Q1 2026, as in January, February, March of 2026, This is what Grok says is their goal, to go online with a system. So if it comes out, let's keep it simple. Let's say it's January. This dream says get your money out within 6 months. Okay, so you got to get into the system to get your money, but then you get out of the system within 6 months. Why? Because probably within 6 months is when the mark of the beast comes out. Just guessing. Now, let me just guess. I do not know that this is accurate, so don't go saying, oh, Stan said. Okay, here, God's not told me. But if this happens, January, February, March, somewhere in there, the new system comes out. I mean, look, we're in a shutdown, and it doesn't look like we're coming out of it. As I've been saying, I think they'll just switch to the new system. So they switched to the new system in quarter 2026, quarter one. 6 months, that means by the end, conservatively speaking, by the end of 2026, we will be in the mark of the beast system. Now, do I know that the mark of the beast has come out at that point? No, I don't. But if we're trying to look and understand just how much time we have, there it is. There it is. I didn't say it. This is their plans. So here's the summary of today's program. I got some more things to show you, though. We can tell how close the mark of the beast is by watching the system coming online. They said the system comes on Q1 2026. Grok.com says the system is going to be on by 2026. So how many years will it be online before the mark of the beast required? Pastor C was told 6 months. Get yourself out of the system within 6 months. What it's saying is, you got to get into the system, but we do not worship another God. We do not bow the knee. We do not accept the Antichrist. But we're probably going to have to get in the system. Feel like I need to. This is like going against everything I've thought my whole life. Okay. I mean, I got to get the money to go drill the well in Israel. Okay, right? Okay. Now, let me give you the rest of the warning. This is important. Don't turn away yet. Revelation 14:9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, this is a very big warning, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture. That means you're going to get the full punishment. Into the cup of his indignation, he should be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Meaning, you take that mark of the beast, you worship the Antichrist, his image, any of that, and you're tossed into the lake that burns with fire and brimstone for all eternity, and there is no escape. There is no possibility of escape. There is no hope for escape. We do not take the mark. Now, does that mean that we might have to give our digital IDs to get into the mark or get into the system to be able to get out? We might. But what we do is get in and get out, okay? Here's the patience of the saints. Here they to keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. In other words, don't quit Jesus. This is going to be a time when a lot of people are falling away. Revelation 16:2, and the first wind poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. Don't take the mark. And the beast was taken with him, the false prophet, that wrought miracles before them, with which he deceived them and had received the mark of the beast, and then had worshipped his image. These both were cast alive in the lake burning with fire and brimstone. This is what we think you can't do. Can't worship the beast or his image. Can't take the mark, his name, or his number. We think that this is the name, this is the way the number of his name looks, and this is the way the mark of the beast looks. Something like in this ballpark. Don't take it. Don't take it. Nothing that if it even comes close to that. If there's any kind of a mark you got to take, you don't do it. It might not look like this. We think it probably does, but even if it doesn't, you don't take it. Matter of fact, if you got to take some kind of a mark to get into the system, you don't get into the system, period. Okay, so the next big question is, who is your God? Ask Jesus into your heart. Get on your knees tonight. Get on your knees now. It's as simple as this. 4 words. Jesus, be my God. Say it. Jesus, be my God. 4 more words. Jesus, forgive my sins. It's not everything you need, but that's a start. It starts there. Now, if God has blessed you and you can help us with a financial donation, thanks. We could really use it now. If you don't want to lose your life's savings, if you have an IRA or a 401k, the thing to do is call 800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. These folks are Christians and they specialize in helping people not lose their life savings in the event of a stock market crash and things like that. Look, most of the 401ks, most of the IRAs are in paper, backed by paper. And as Lindsey Williams says, if it's in paper, it's worth the paper it's written on. You can lose it all. 1-800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. Hey, give them a call. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't cost you anything. See if they can give you some good advice. If you want to be on the end of making money, gold and silver is preserving your money. If you want to be on the end of making money, then you might want to call prophecyclubcrypto.com or actually go to it or call that number at the bottom right corner. Ask them about crypto if you're in the position where you can make money.